Hello makers, and welcome back to Making with Miss Jo Russ. Alright, this week we're going to be doing a design challenge on things that spin. Everything we make is going to be out of paper, and it's all going to be something that spins when you drop it from a height. When you drop them from the stairs, or maybe a porch, or even if you stand on a chair and you can drop something down. So this is going to take all week. We're going to do spinners all week. But the first day we're going to learn how to do a really basic paper spinner, and we're going to be using paper clips at the bottom to put some weight on it. So things I want you to think about are the shape of your spinner and what kind of weight it has and how it balances and how it spins. And the next one we're going to make, these are called fish spinners because they kind of look like a fish. And experiment with the width and the length, and when you drop these, they kind of spin in a different way. And we're also going to be doing a spinner that's inspired by a ceiling fan. It's called a fan spinner. And then the next day, we're going to be making some more helicopter-inspired spinners. And again, at the bottom for weight, you can either fold up the paper or you can add things like paper clips to make it drop faster. And then, of course, we'll have to do some origami. There's an origami-inspired, helicopter-inspired spinner. And when you throw this off at a height, it spins. So lots to look forward to. This is part one of a two-part series on how to make spinners. And I'm going to ask you to tinker with these designs and change them up and play around with the sizes and the shapes and the weights and see which ones spin best. But what I hope that you will do as a maker and designer is to come up with your own design and to tinker with the designs and play around with it and see if you can get it to work better and use different shapes and different weights and design your own. And this is called prototyping. When you try out a bunch of different ideas, some work, some don't. But then that's how you finally get your design, all right? This is the process of designers and engineers. It's a process of prototyping, and I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, let's get to it. So today we're going to be making this one first. It's a paper spinner, and it uses a paper clip at the bottom for a weight. All right, the materials you need for this project are just paper. I recommend recycled paper, and some paper clips, and two different sizes. If you have them, we're going to use those as weights. And you need some scissors. You can use a ruler if you want, but you don't have to. And then for this project, if you have different colored paper, that can be helpful, but you can also make it out of white paper. All right, this is the first one. So for the first one, if you have a piece of paper, you can fold it in half. We want a rectangular shape, and I really want you to experiment with different shapes and different sizes, but I'm going to show you one to start off with. All right, so we're going to draw some lines on it. Now, I'm going to do it with Sharpie so you can see it, but you can do it with pencil. And I'm going to draw a line like this. I'm going to try to divide it into 3 sections. Okay? So imagine if this is 1 section, 2, 3. You want them about the same distance apart. And notice I started one line here and I stopped about that distance, the same width. And then I took the other line from here and I stopped. Okay, so it's about the same width all the way around. It almost looks like a maze. Now, I'm going to cut along those lines right here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I want you to experiment with all different kinds. It kind of looks like this, a letter Z or a letter N. And then you're going to take this and these two ends and you're going to match up the corners like this. And you are going to put a paper clip on it. Now you can use a big clip or a little clip, but that is the weight at the bottom. All right, so this is our first paper spinner. And I want you to try it with a big paper clip and a little paper clip. A big paper clip weighs more. And then you just need to stand up. You can stand up on a chair. So I recommend standing on a chair to do it, but of course, safety first, be careful. But you want to get up high and you want to drop it and it'll start to spin, okay? And I'm going to try to get a video of this and show it to you in slow-mo. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to stand up on my chair. Woo! Did you see that? All right, so when I held it by this little tip up here, it spun. It was great. It spun great. So if you can get some extra height, it's really going to work. And this is what designers do and engineers. We try our design and then we work on it. So then once you're done with this, I want you to try to do this with square paper, bigger triangle paper, smaller triangle paper. You can put more weights on it. You can add paper clips, use small paper clips, big paper clips. Try to see which design spins best. Okay, this is the process of prototyping, and it is the process of designing that all engineers and designers go through with anything. Okay, so that's your first paper spinner. Okay, now we're going to make another kind of spinner. These are called fish spinners, and all you need is a strip of paper. It's really easy, and you cut a little notch in it, and you slide it together. And these, when you drop them from a height, they spin in a different way. They kind of twirl. All right, so I want you to experiment with different widths of the paper and different lengths and see how those work as spinners. All right, this spinner is called a fish spinner. And again, it's a very simple spinner. And you make this shape. And right at the end, you're going to take a little cut there. And on the opposite side, you're going to make a little cut there. And we're going to fit these pieces of paper together. All right. So I'm going to flip it around and slide it in. And you see how it didn't quite go in deep enough? So I'm going to, come out and I'm going to make it a little bit deeper on both sides so that when I put it together, it fits together better. So then when I come around, I slide it through. This is called a slot. And you see that? And you see how it kind of looks like a fish? So when you drop this, this will spin. Okay, and then finally, this is called a fan spinner. It looks like this, and it uses 3 strips of paper to put it together. If you put it on the end of a pencil or your finger, and you put it underneath a ceiling fan, it should spin around like this, all right? But you can use this in your designs to make things that spin. You might need to add some weight or some paper at the bottom and some weight to help it spin and fall down. But this is all part of the design process. All right, so we have 3 strips of paper right here, and I'm going to take them and turn them on its side, and I'm going to fold them lengthwise in half, okay? So it looks like that. And you're going to do that with all 3. So you just fold it over lengthwise, and we're doing this to make the paper a little bit stronger, all right? So now we have our 3 strips that are a little skinnier, but they're doubled, and we're going to fold them in half, okay? So you just get those ends together and fold it right in half. Okay, now this is the tricky part. I admit it took me a few times to do it, but you'll get it. All right. You take one of these and you open up one and you put the other one right inside of it. You see that? Just like that. So, and you slide it in, so there is actually a hole in there, right? So you slide it in like this. Now this one, you're not going to do it like this. You're going to flip it around so the closed side is facing the other way. And instead of just sliding it in, you're going to put it around the whole thing, okay? So you see how they're opposite? The blue one is inside of the green, and the pink one is on the outside of the green, and the closed side is on the pink is on one side, and on the purple it's on the other. All right, you're going to take this pink, and you're going to put it into the purple side. So the one that's on top of the green, you're going to take these ends, and you're going to open this one up and stick it in. And it's a little tricky to do, but you can do it. Do you see how I did that right there? So I stuck the pink inside the purple. And that's why I think it's good to do 3 different colors if you have different colored paper, because it's easier to see. So basically each one is looped around the other one. And then you push it in. You're just going to slide it together. You're going to kind of pull gently on each corner. The first time you do this, it might be a little hard, but then you're going to get it. And if you keep pulling on those lines, the ends, gently, and you rotate around the circle, you do a little on the pink, a little on the green, a little on the purple, and you keep going on, you will eventually, it'll tighten up into this little corner. Okay, you see like that? And that's what it looks like. It has a little pocket on the inside. All right. And you can pull that as tight as you can do it without breaking the paper. And then I like to take these little edges and fold them up. All right. And then this right here is how a fan is made. I don't know if you've ever had a ceiling fan, but if you have a ceiling fan in your house, if you go take this and you put it on your finger or you put it on a pencil, then when the air from the fan hits it, it will spin around like this. And you can also throw it off of a height, like off of a back porch or stairs, and see if it'll spin on the way down. This is another way that things spin. You can also add a weight to the bottom, any kind of paper or any kind of weight that'll let it to pull it down and drop it down. So adding weight is a good way to play around with spinners. All right, you guys, all of them spin differently. I want you to try them all, see what works best for you, and then tinker with it and try to make it work better. All right, that's all for now. So stay safe out there and keep on making.